given that we are supposed to stay home, I shot a video back in January and kind of decided to just sit on it. But, we have been told to stay home and binge watch as much as possible. So, let's go on an adventure. Wait, didn't you have this spiel like when you start out on YouTube?
Oh, the greeting?
The Jake Paul?
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Just sitting here in a deer blind, checking this out, man. Look, we're seeing some monster deer today, and it is sick, and we are savage.
We're headed to South Texas right now. I am about 50 miles outside of San Antonio, and something's been stinking going down the highway, and one of my little rig jobs is leaking. And I'm stuck on the exit going to Lakey, Texas, off of I-10 East. I knew something was gonna happen, I just didn't know when it was gonna start. Hopefully, we're looking up from here. But first things first, we gotta get the van back on the road. See, let me tell you, so driving an old vehicle is nice because you don't have a monthly payment, but there's no warranty. So you gotta take that into consideration. Before you go buying an old van and driving all over the country, make sure you know how to do some basic repairs. Or at least have a AAA account. But we're back on the road in 30 minutes because we had some water and a screwdriver. And, without those two things, we've been sitting there like 2 hours on a tow truck. Had to go to San Antonio to a shop. It could have cost hundreds of dollars. So we're rolling again. Yeah!
Continue on I-10 East for 105 miles.
Whoa, that's a sand station. So frac sand comes in there and they load it up on trucks and go pump it in the ground, prop the rock open when they break it with water to get oil out of it. They tried to put one of those stations in San Angelo and everyone threw quite a fit about it. Didn't want a bunch of trains and semis driving through town, all in the sand in and out day and night. You gotta get it somehow. So do it in the middle of nowhere. Don't wait. Moving, making some time now.
And then what they implicitly did was to subsidize the growth of an addictive substance as opposed to tax it, which is what we're doing for alcohol and cigarettes and other addictive substances.
Well, we have officially arrived in the part of Texas known as South Texas. They have great hunting down here, lots of oil.
Your destination is on the left.
And I just missed the gate. Going to see my best friend Wes. We grew up in San Angelo together. He's a cowboy. Grew up raising cattle. My dad was a hairdresser, so I was a city boy. And then we met somewhere in the middle. We were kind of the bad kids. Neither one of us were into football. We'd probably rather take a John boat out on the lake or go drive around a ranch and shoot pigs than join the school-sanctioned events. Know me? The last time I was here, the house trap was nothing more than an idea. In the last 2 years, they've built roads, poured concrete pads, constructed a barn, built a pond, and rebuilt fences, ultimately restoring several thousand acres of uncared-for, overhunted brush country into a thriving wildlife habitat. The next morning, we packed up and drove another hour south to a different property on top of the Eagleford Shale, Keep in mind that the property we're spending the day on was recently drilled and currently produces several thousand barrels of crude oil per day. However, by concentrating the wellheads in one location and drilling horizontally in different directions, the surface and ecosystem remain largely unaffected. You have a good morning for us? Good morning.
Yeah, it's
Good
already
morning,
passing
YouTube.
morning because we're having to play with film equipment.
What up?
Dude, that's some buzzards up there. I'm trying to figure out, will anything eat a dead buzzard?
Not acting.
No acting.
Well, let me turn my headphone down. I'm deaf in my left ear.
Alright, so we've been arrowhead hunting for a little while and have not successfully found arrowheads. However, we're on top of an Indian camp, like 40, how far away from Corpus? 60 miles?
No, we're an hour and a half from Corpus.
90 miles northwest of Corpus Christi,
And we're northeast of Laredo, about 70 miles.
near the,
We're in the middle of the South Texas brush country.
there you go.
There you go.
Good answer. This is Wes.
Near the Frio River.
Yes.
Hello.
He's been explaining to me about Indian stuff. What are these?
That's just a piece of petrified wood that was chipped on. That is a tail off of a knife, a chert knife.
How is it a tail? Hold it still and point it out.
Here's, if I'm holding it upright, that would have been the base of the knife,
Okay.
and it would have come up to about here,
Yeah.
come to a point, and some of them would square off. They're different shapes.
How long ago?
Hard to tell. It could be anywhere from a few thousand years to 1,000 to 10,000. You know, just depends. I'd have to pull out a book.
So there's so much of this stuff out here that if it's not like a perfect specimen, it's not even worth keeping. At some point you end up with buckets and buckets of rocks. Next.
What is that? That's petrified palm wood. Focusing.
Okay, there it is.
You can
Why is there wood down here?
see it's all petrified wood. I think it was the Paleozoic era, and it was, like tens of millions of years ago.
Yeah. Covered by water, jungle.
A lot of dense jungle, rainforest was in this area when the equator was pretty much more of like a 2/3 of the earth was the hot zone, instead of just this tiny little strip in the center. So there was dense rainforest everywhere.
Kind of like the dense brush now, but maybe 100 foot high.
Yeah.
Next.
That is a busted Nueces tool. It was a woodworking tool that, I think it was I might be wrong on the tribe, I think it was the Coilticans used. I'm not sure though, I might be wrong.
How'd they use it?
It was used just like plain wood.
Yeah. Una más.
That's a piece of rock.
All right, that was my find. Moving on.
Gallon of fucking mud on your foot from taking 5 steps. Woo! That's nasty, dude. You could build bricks with that shit.
Oh yeah.
That's some good
Adobe.
earth and block home material.
Turn it. Give me a good show. Ooh. Oh, I got shadows.
Let me do this.
That's nice. Several hundred years old.
Several thousand years old, buddy. Several thousand.
Several thousand years old.
Yep.
In a place that may have been a homestead 100 years ago.
Yeah. That any metal or human remnants, like normal modern human remnants, it's gonna be an old rancher's house or farmer.
How did you get interested in this stuff?
Really, I mean, my dad and my uncle introduced me to it when I was a kid, and I found some then, but when I turned about 20, I guess, or about 20, something piqued my interest even more, because I had one good hunt where I went out and found like 5 points in a half a day or something, perfect points on a ranch near Uvalde, and I got amped up about it again, like big time though, like I'd never been before, and I just got after it, and I haven't stopped for over a decade now, just trying to chase down arrowheads, and any Indian artifacts.
Has hunting and agriculture come along with that?
Oh yeah, definitely wildlife preservation and habitat, working on healthy habitat for animals, both livestock and wildlife. That's come along with that, but that's what allowed me to be in a place where I could have my interest piqued, you know. Otherwise, I'd have had to have got lucky and had a friend who invited me somewhere to do it. So
Yeah.
but it's yeah, man, finding Indian artifacts is like crack. I don't know what crack's like, but I'm assuming.
Some fucking long beams. Look how wide that motherfucker is. Like, yeah, he's outside his ears 2 inches on each side. He's like that one I shot the other day. But he's real short timed. See, that's an old buck that's gone downhill. He's pretty as shit though.
You, in a few words, describe the bucks we've seen tonight. They're pretty typical for this part of the country.
A lot of decent young deer, but we've seen one really good older deer. It was a long way off, so yeah, some good bucks. Good, they're average for the country. Yeah,
100 and
like a upper 130s, 140, kind of 8-point, which is big.
yeah.
It's a pretty big 8-point, and then just some kind of average younger deer in the high 20s, low 30s.
Yeah. Well, the goal was kind of to shoot a doe, but I really wanted to see some big bucks, and
We didn't see any crushers.
We didn't
but I
see
wish
any.
we would've.
Yeah, no crushers. Coming from a professional, coming from a guy that hasn't been in a deer
But
blind
the
in
rut-
several years.
The rut's
nice.
over.
It's special doe season too, so you can't shoot a buck now. Anyways, January 20th. Deer season ended yesterday, 2 days ago.
2 days ago, look, there he is.
Deer season ended 2 days ago.
There he is.
See, he's back. He liked Wes's YouTube greeting.
He popped out again, way down there. Same spot.
Yeah, we'll see if you can shoot one of the houses.
I think it's funny to make it a cause, but like Chinese restaurant syndrome does sound a little aggressive.
It is aggressive, but at the same time, it's not. People didn't look at Chinese people and form this opinion. They ate Chinese food.
Should we be talking about that? Should we even be on the air right now?
First off, I gotta say thank you to Wes. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm very grateful to have a friend that I can spend time with and do this kind of thing. But he used to guide hunts for a living. You know, this is exciting for me. It's a vacation. But the professionals do it 5-7 days a week during the season, 6 to 9. And if we had shot something today, they'd be out in the, barn skinning it and quartering it for the guys that are leaving tomorrow and the next group coming in. This is a form of ecotourism for Texas, and it exists all over the country. When you see something come in that has antlers twice as wide as its head and a beat up eye because he's been fighting all year, that's majestic. That's nature. That's a real fight for survival.
Best comedians in the last few years who got called out by the SJWs,
They don't apologize.
they don't apologize.
Who are the SJWs?
Social justice warriors. They're the ones who run the fucking media.